Hey, how everybody doing today? My name is Anthony Jimson. I just came from a walk, and this is another installment of Kicktalk, where we're going to sit down with Miss Cassandra, Simp on them. My bad, I completely butchered that. We're going to sit down with Miss Simp on them, Cassandra. How y'all doing? How's everybody doing? Hey, how's it going?
Hey, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. I see you take no days off.
Yeah, seriously.
So why don't you start by introducing yourself to everybody?
Yeah, so my name is Cassandra Roy. Because I actually recently got married. This is my husband, Rickson
How you
Roy.
doing?
I am right now I'm program director and head instructor for Premier Martial Arts in Apex, North Carolina. But my background started in taekwondo. I'm a third dan in taekwondo. But I also do like krav maga and kickboxing and Muay Thai, which kickboxing and Muay Thai I do argue two different things, right? Um, as well as a bunch of weapon work and ground stuff and fighting.
So, okay, just by hearing that, what is like your favorite martial art trainer, or which one like challenged you the most?
Like personal life or like inspiration.
Both.
Okay, yeah, personal life would be my dad. My both my parents are martial arts instructors, so I started martial arts at a really early age. Basically, I don't remember starting it. I've done it all my life. So my dad's always been my number one like influence as far as like just watching him instruct, watching him in life. He's definitely that what we call a black belt, all those black belt kind of excellence principles that a lot of places have. He's all of those things. And outside of that, I would say Bruce Lee has always been a big idol of mine. I absolutely love, of course, I consider him the father of mixed martial arts, I guess, and I love mixed martial arts, as you can see, like, by all the styles I do, because he's all into blending the most effective techniques from a lot of different styles.
That's pretty dope. My next question was, how often do you train, like a week in martial arts, or how much do you dedicate to it?
Yeah, so outside of teaching, I'm gonna go outside of teaching because I don't think that's fair because I spend hours on the mat just teaching every week. So I get up every morning and I warm up, usually like a run or, jump rope or something else, and I do martial arts for an hour or two in the morning and then sometimes an hour or two in the evening, and that's 6 days a week because I do believe in giving your body plenty of rest.
So before this whole COVID thing, nothing, how has it really impacted like your martial arts training, or like how often you train?
Man, I'll tell you, it's been hard because sometimes I didn't realize that, martial arts, I always say is like, it's either the most individual team sport or the most team sport that's actually for individuals. I don't know if that makes sense, but if you're a martial artist, you probably get what I mean. Because we're in it together in a class and we all work out together and we're there for each other. And I didn't realize how much I actually use that class dynamic to really get me going sometimes. Because although I am like a self-motivator, sometimes you just don't want to get up and do the same thing every day. And, I found it's really hard some days to jump back in and be like, oh no, I'm definitely going to train. I'm definitely going to do this. Sometimes connecting with people over Zoom or doing, classes like that has helped, or reaching out to friends or Instagram, following someone like you, seeing all these posts, everybody training, we're all in the same situation too, has been really helpful. But COVID has really messed with me mentally and physically.
But you haven't let it get down because we see you post you training, kicking Bob like every day, all day.
Yeah, I know. I love it.
Go back to your dad for a second. So,
Mhm.
being the daughter of a black belt, was it like he, I wouldn't say like, heavy on you, but did he instill a lot of like what he learned into you?
Absolutely. And both my parents are martial arts instructors, and they're both masters and black belts. So I definitely got it kind of hard. And just training and everything growing up, most people stay at a rank about 3 months before they progress, or 4 months, depending on your style, depending on where you are. I stayed at all my ranks for a year or more. Not only for competition and competing, but also too, I wasn't good enough yet. I wasn't good enough yet. I'd been in there for 3 times as long as a lot of the black belts and didn't have a black belt for a long period of time. He definitely pushed all those ideas and principles and made sure I fully understood mental and physical aspects of martial arts.
Yeah, because it's not always about the body; it's always about the mentality that you carry.
Absolutely.
So, would you say like most times, like when your dad was teaching class, he would expect you to be like the leader or the role model, like of the class, like when he was teaching?
Absolutely. Like it wasn't even a choice. It was just like
You gotta
it's
lead
like,
by
hey, look
example.
up to her. She's right there. You need to be doing it like this. And he was always a lot harder on me than everybody else. Out of love, though, I will say that he wasn't mean. But it was a lot harder on me and expected a lot more out of me. So, he definitely pushed other people to look up to me as a leader, which I think is kind of maybe why I teach martial arts today. Like I've always kind of been in that role.
So, going through your journey, was teaching always like the next step for you, or it was just something like you kind of like fell into?
Both. I actually went to school for something else. I
Hmm.
actually have like a bachelor's degree. It's more of, and I have a lot of certifications. I'm a certified personal trainer, registered 500-hour yoga teacher with Yoga Alliance. A lot of different things that I do, but everything always fits back into martial arts and makes my martial arts better. I guess you could say I was like born for the role of a martial arts instructor.
Hmm.
Absolutely. But at the same time, I always thought I was going to do something else. But no matter what, I always kept coming back to this. It's the thing it's in my heart. Like I can't get rid of it.
I want to say congratulations. So, did you and your husband meet through martial arts, or did I met through something else and he started martial arts? Like, what's the background on that?
Yeah, so we didn't meet through martial arts. He's only been doing martial arts since we got married, actually. So, he's only an orange belt right now. And I'm glad that he started martial arts. I absolutely love it. We actually met through Instagram. That's the power of Instagram, like everybody. Like, I get to meet wonderful people like you right now. I met my husband on Instagram. Um, you know, Meeting, connecting with more people with the similar hobbies or that like the same things in life.
So, like, I know you said like a lot of times, like your dad looked at your leadership. Like, did he ever spar against you, and do you pass it on to your husband? Like, do you spar against your husband to get him tougher, and does he kind of shy away from you?
We spar around some. Me and my husband spar around some. We do because we do training together, and right now it's COVID, so it's hard to find. We have a couple close friends that I actually work with, so we're our families are pretty much just if they get COVID, we get COVID. That's kind of how it is. So we do train a little bit with them occasionally when we have an opportunity to, but like not too much touching right now. So actually, right now, my husband's the only person I can spar. So we spar around, and he's gotten pretty used to it, and he's gotten a lot better as well. I'm waiting for him to get quicker than me. But even sparring my dad growing up, we always spar, but my dad is an amazing martial artist. Just like anybody else, he'll meet you at your level and go a little bit more and push you. And, I actually learned that really from him too. Meeting someone at the level that they're at, but realizing to take it a little bit further just to push them, not to ever embarrass them or hurt them or anything like that.
So you say you practice like many weapons. Like, what kind of weapons have you trained or practiced or mastered?
Yeah, so the only thing I would say, I don't actually pick up a bow staff too often, but I did a lot of bow staff, and I used to compete with bow staff, both musical and traditional. And I love bow staff. That's probably my main weapon. But also too, eskrima or kali, depending, however, Philippine stick art. I love stick art, one and two sticks, both. Nunchucks are super fun. Actually, my husband's better at nunchucks than me. He picked up nunchucks before he ever started any other style of martial arts, and he's amazing with them. And personally, I just started working on the kama. So that's my new, like, I'm getting a little bit better, but I'm working on it. It's coming a little slow.
So I know a lot of people now because it's like it's a big craze now. Like nutrition, exercise,
Yeah.
and dieting. Like when like you say you get up in the morning, what's your favorite routine? You work on like your cardio, your running, all that, or do you go straight to martial arts, or do you get the other stuff out the way first?
A little bit of both. So when I get up, I do more of a traditional kind of Muay Thai type workout. So they do a lot of shin conditioning and training and stuff. So I like to go for a run first thing. Also, to run, you don't have to think about. It's one of those things you can hop out the door and just do without, there's no thought process. Running shoes on, I'm out the door. And then to get my thoughts together while I'm running. After that, I do like jumping rope. Some days are better than others with jumping rope. also shin conditioning and, leg training as well. But then I like to hop straight into martial arts. It's the first thing that I like to do before anything else. Also, I do like to fight. So I believe that when you are a fighter, striking should be the number one thing that you're working on. All the other conditioning is an extra, is a plus to help you out with the striking and the groundwork and everything. So I do that before anything else. So running's the warm up, martial arts first and foremost, and then everything else is bonus.
Right, right. Now you said you love to fight, man. I think we talked a little about it in the DM, about like being the head girl in class. Did that put it off into the target on your back when you sparred against the boys, or that just gave you more motivation to, show them like I'm maybe a girl, but I can hang with you?
So I would say more than hang with them. I always, I toot my own horn for a second, I guess. Being in martial arts and always being in martial arts, even if someone started and they were my same age, so say we were both 9 years old, I had already been doing martial arts for majority of my life at that point, right? Maybe close to 6, 7 years, I would even say. So if they joined in, I was already kind of better than anybody else that I was spar that was my own age and my own size, just naturally. So I was never really intimidated by boys, but I did notice that a lot of times they were even not intimidated by me, but sometimes just angry with me. Like, why can't I beat her? She's a girl. I should be able to beat her, right?
Well,
And
that's
they would have that little angry attitude, and I would just kind of get over it and just kind of smirk and move on. And I always like my dad instilled in me, you fight at their level and a little bit better because we're all there to improve each other. Like I said, martial arts is kind of a team sport, although it's very individual. So I always just was there and I tried to help them out as well. And hopefully we're all just getting better together.
yeah. Sometimes as males, our dads instead of us like you got to be strong, and it's just
Yeah,
really the ego, like
yeah.
But what is your favorite form in Taekwondo? Because I know you said you do a catalog of martial arts.
Yeah, my favorite one is actually it's called Chunji. Not Chunji like the white belt form, but Junji. It's one of the black belt forms. So it's one that I used more recently. So maybe that's why maybe I'm biased just because I practiced it a lot more recently than some of the other forms. But it's one of the it's an ITF Taekwondo style, going from second dan to third dan. So it's one of the last ones that I used on a test, and I really enjoy it. I enjoy the way it flows, and I do like to practice. I always tell everybody practice all your forms all the time. So if you're training, it's a great way to warm up too. Go walk through your forms. That way you never forget them. But I am maybe a little biased because it's one of the last forms that I had to perform in front of people.
That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. Next thing I wanted to ask, so is the trend still going? Like I know I seen you out with your kids. Do you also train them too? Like pass on what your dad passed on to them, or they kind of
Um,
just like nah, ma.
so I have two 11-year-old boys, and they hit sometimes. They'll hit pads with me. They don't want to formally train. They both at one point in time took martial arts. I never pushed them for anything. I like to show them what the world has to offer. So they've done soccer and flag football and martial arts, but ultimately both my boys are dancers, and they love to dance, which I love to dance too, don't get me wrong. But they're both dancers, and they rather dance than do martial arts. So I'm fine with that. If they ever want to turn around and hit pads, all they have to do is ask.
Maybe it can be the first hip hop martial arts dancers. Who knows?
Yeah, that'd be super cool. I'd watch it.
So everybody know Taekwondo is like all about kicking. So we could say you're a very intensive kicker. What are your favorite kick and kick combinations that you like to use or practice?
Yeah, my favorite kick is a hook kick, actually. And my favorite kick combination is a hook round, because if you know those kicks, the hook kick ends in a round kick chamber, basically. So then throwing a round kick right after that. And I love that. That's a combination you can throw from many different angles in sparring, especially if you're doing more sport karate or taekwondo style sparring. So I absolutely love that combination. It's super practical. And it also looks nice, even like on camera or when you're doing anything else. And it feels really good to kind of throw that out there.
Feel good, knock somebody out. But how, in your own opinion, is it more important for like people to train in the martial arts with like the height and crime and stuff going on, and not just only that, just to, like get healthy or go try something new, get the blood pumping, like
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm also a certified personal trainer.
right.
So, the whole health aspect all the way around, because, you know, every exercise has mental and physical benefits, but there's so many more mental benefits and or that's easy to come by in martial arts than any other sport. You know, we have our creeds and we have our, you know, tenets and all these other things that we say at the beginning of class. But I know, like personally in my classes, we do mat chats. We sit down, we talk about these principles as well. So we're also building up that mental aspect. But, you know, like anything else, I think martial arts is one of the most well-rounded sports. We work on cardio and endurance, but we also work on a lot of strength training, although a lot of it is body weight strength training. So we have all those different aspects, as well as flexibility as and mixed with strength, right? So, you know, I also love yoga. So a big part of yoga is having the balance between flexibility and strength, and that's something that martial arts also covers. So it's a very well-rounded sport, and it's great for people of all ages. I know sometimes people are like, you know, my knee hurts or this hurts or that hurts. But if you go to someone that's well-trained or well-versed, like I do corrective exercise, then the exercises we do in martial arts is actually beneficial to things like knee pain, just if done correctly, right? So I absolutely love martial arts for all ages, all levels, and it's just so well-rounded.
So I know you mentioned before that you're the head instructor of Premier Martial Arts. Like, how did you end up getting that position? Like, because I know you say you transitioned through different martial arts. So how did you end up here today?
Oh, yeah. So I actually love Premier Martial Arts. Not necessarily a plug for them or anything, but if anybody knows anything about them, they're really kind of a mixed style. So their whole foundation is like Krav Maga. So going back to the self-defense that you just talked about, that's what their foundation martial arts is. That's what you're really going through learning. Kickboxing is then added for a lot of the physical fitness aspects, as well as just practical combatives for the Krav Maga. We also do a lot of taekwondo style kicks because, like I said, the dynamic stretching and everything else is so great. So it's a really integrated style. So I sought them out, and I'm so glad to be kind of a part of their team because they mix all the best things as well as have a great curriculum that automatically has the mental aspects in it. So, you know, I would have to say how I got this is I've been a martial arts instructor for a long time. And then if anybody's inspiring martial arts instructor, you know, places like Premier Martial Arts has a lot of great opportunities for full-time, well-paid martial artists, because that's not always the case, as anybody that maybe wants to be a martial arts instructor knows. It's hard to find those positions. So, you know, as you go through that and everything else, just kind of realizing that. And I've just been in martial arts for so long. I have all these other credentials like personal training, understanding the body, a lot of anatomy training, and that's how you kind of get a head instructor position. And program directing just kind of came naturally, but also realizing no matter what profession you go into, you need business classes to succeed. So just being around martial arts and in martial arts studios my entire life, because both my parents own martial arts studios and our instructors really help with that. So just being so put really into the atmosphere. If you want to be a martial arts instructor, live at the school for a while, basically.
Right, right. What do you try to instill into your students when you're training them? Like, what's the most important aspect that you try to instill into them?
I would definitely say a lot of the mental benefits. You know, when people come in, we have a bit of a checklist of things that they want to improve on, and I want to make sure I'm hitting those. For some people that come in for martial arts, I'm improving their confidence. They've never talked in front of anybody before, performed in front of anybody. They're really shy. They're not that go-getter type. Now, I'm not saying I believe we need all sorts of different types of people in the world, but if you ever need to stand up and do something for yourself, I want you to have the confidence that you can do that. As well as going back to that self-defense aspect. You know, what happens if someone attacks you? I don't want you to shut down. You know, we have the 3 F's: fight, flight, or fright, right? I'm just sitting there and I'm literally freaking out. I don't want you to do that. I want you to be able to defend yourself. For other people, it might be a little bit more focus or attention. There's so many different aspects. And so I really work on those mental aspects through the physical aspects and the things that we're doing in class.
And I know, like, the fight and slice scenario just came up. So, growing up as a daughter of 2 martial artists, you know, and everybody know high school is the most challenging time. You know, you always got people trying to bully you or antagonize you. How hard was it to have the mentality, you know, I know what I know, but I don't want to, like, get into a physical cage and actually, you know, hurt somebody, do too much harm, because, you know, anger always plays a part, especially when you're younger. So how did you keep that mentality through high school, not to, like, getting the physical education? Like, or did anybody know that you did martial arts while you were in school?
I lived in a small town. A lot of people did know I did martial arts. And I do have to say, I think part of the reason that even other people that didn't know I did martial arts really didn't overly mess with me, it goes back to that confidence. If you're truly a confident person, you're less likely to become a victim or be attacked, right? No one wants to attack the person with their head up, shoulders back, looking around, aware of their situation. They want to attack the person with their head down, shrugged shoulders. They don't look confident. They're not aware of their surroundings, right? So I was never really picked on or anything else like that. The few times that I was, we always have this saying too amongst me and my friends that if anybody ever attacks any of us, they're going to be the luckiest person ever, because our whole goal is to disarm and de-escalate the situation. And and then realize, get them to the point where they realize, hey, this is what I want to do. I don't want to attack you. I don't want anything else. we want
I
to
don't want
we
to
want
smoke.
to de-escalate and disarm. That's the whole goal, right? So luckily, being in martial arts for so long, I had that mentality even in high school. When people came up to me and had an altercation, you learn really quickly, you put up your hand, palm out. No, I'm not interested. No, I don't want any problems with you. And being able, like you said, anger does kick in, but through martial arts, we learn to actually kind of control our own emotions and look at the greater picture of things. And in that case, it may be to just walk away. Hey, this isn't worth it. I'm going to walk away. You can talk junk. It's cool. It's whatever. Say what you want. I'm going to be over there. Like, it's not even worth it.
That's like a dope mentality to have. So you would say martial arts strengthened your mindset, like, and make you the person you are today. Like, could you put that in your own words?
Say that again.
You could say like training in martial arts gave you the confidence to be. I mean, gave you the mindset and the confidence to be a confident person that you are today, right? So you
Yeah,
could. That's pretty dope.
for sure.
I kind of lost my train of thought. I got sidetracked. But what does taekwondo mean to you? Because everybody describes martial arts differently. What does it mean to you?
Yeah, I think it goes back to like the tenets of Taekwondo that a lot of places say is courtesy, integrity, perseverance, self-control, and indomitable spirit. And I think perseverance and indomitable spirit is one of the greatest things that pop out to me in martial arts in general. Because you go into a lot of places, you're just thrown into a class, whether it's music class, dance class, you're thrown into a soccer field. Most people are at the same level. But martial arts is truly a journey. You have to persevere. You have to have indomitable spirit to move on, right? And that journey through taekwondo, through martial arts, that journey to black belt. And then when you get to black belt, you realize black belt's just the beginning. I've really just begun. I'm just starting to understand myself and the world around me and martial arts. So really, perseverance and indomitable spirit, I think, is one of the greatest kind of things that you can pull out of taekwondo or martial arts in general.
So I know you say we'll have to get the back belt, and most people don't know that. That's when the real training journey began. Like, how could you describe your moment you got your black belt, and when did you get your black belt?
Took me forever to get my black belt. So, like, both parents, martial arts instructors. I stayed at rank for so long. I was nearly an adult. God, it's been so long now. I'm 31 now, and it was 17 or no, sorry. It was like I was like 18 when I got my black belt finally. So I remember it, and I just remember. I remember I was really excited. I actually had several black belt tests, and I didn't pass them. My dad was on the judging panel, and it just didn't happen. And finally, I kind of went to actually his master, which is a dear friend of the family and everything else. And he pulled me and he put me in one of his black belt testings, and I got incredible scores, and I passed, and I finally got my black belt through him. But I also like that as well because I didn't get my black belt from my dad, if that makes sense. No one wants to get that from their parents. So, you know,
I don't know. How did your dad feel about it when you got it from his master or whatever?
he was proud of me either way. My dad's nothing but he's proud, he's excited. He pushes me obviously, but proud and excited. So, he was happy and he was just like, yeah, I'm glad you went ahead and did that. I guess he was kind of at a point in his life where he realized maybe he'd never be able to actually pass me. I don't know.
Speaking to the young women out there as a leading program digger, leading instructor, like what would you have to say to them to if they're in martial arts, if you're not in martial arts, like what words could you share with them?
Yeah, encouragement to continue. A lot of times you find that as far as instructors go, it's a male-dominated sport. Now, I will say most of my classes right now are about 50-50, or at most 60% men, 40% female or girls. But a lot of them are 50-50. And although you might not see representation in some areas, if you are a girl, I will say that there's plenty of us female martial artists out there. Know that we're out there. We have your back. We all like to support each other. And if you ever want to be a martial arts instructor, pursue martial arts in any other way. There's other jobs with martial arts as well, not only instructing. But if you ever want to pursue any of those jobs, go for it. Go for it with all your heart. Study like you would study any other subject. You know, they tell you to study English, they tell you to study math. Study martial arts the same. Become well-rounded. Get lots of certifications. And then when you go out to be an instructor and someone looks at your resume, they're gonna not have a reason to they're not gonna have a reason to not hire you. You're gonna get hired. It's not a problem. You know, of course, working on the physical skills, but more than likely, if you're in it, you've got your black belt, you probably have the physical skills to be an instructor. So working on that mental strength, really.
So, do you ever see yourself like eventually retiring from martial arts, or you just it's gonna stay with you forever?
So both. As far as personal kind of training, I think I'll always do martial arts. I absolutely love it. I've even dabbled in Tai Chi some. So maybe when I'm a little bit too old to do a lot of high kicks or whatever else, maybe I can go back to a little bit slower form, work on my energy and some Tai Chi. But, you know, so as far as always being an instructor, I'm not quite sure. I'm actually working towards a doctorate in public health as well. So we'll kind of see where that goes. But I'm going towards youth fitness and nutrition with that. So I always think martial arts will be a nice integrated role in my life, whether it's directly me teaching or just me practicing and me using the benefits of martial arts to really help, especially youth in other ways.
Now, I think somebody had sent me this question before I had dove in, and I just want to ask if you don't feel comfortable asking it. Do you think that the right martial arts training should be incorporated in, police training, so you can actually disarm a person the right way instead of the stuff that we have been seeing and what's been going on?
Absolutely. We need better training. And I know, especially at our schools at Premier Martial Arts, we have a lot of police that we train because being a Krav Maga base, we do a lot of gun and knife disarms as part of our curriculum. In order to get an adult black belt, you have to be able to do gun and knife disarms. Now, I'm not saying I want people to actually walk up to people and take a gun out of their hand. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if you're in a situation, you should feel confident and comfortable and be well drilled to have a gun pointed at you, to remain calm and not to do anything irrational. That goes even for police officers. I think a lot of times in society we say, oh, well, this person reacted when a police officer walked up to him, so that's the reason that the police officer shot them or hurt them or whatever. So, but why are we expecting less of our police officers and not more of our police officers? We're saying, oh, this person reacted. This is an untrained civilian that reacted, right? So our police should be better trained than that, though, especially if they can carry a gun. They should be mentally and physically trained to carry that gun. They should be able to de-escalate situations, which is the same thing I was saying before with as far as martial arts training, especially for the mental aspects. But then to realize what's truly a threat, what's not a threat, being completely aware of their surroundings and situation. These are all martial arts skills. So I definitely think that incorporating martial arts, like truly martial arts and consistent martial arts training into any police department program could only be a plus and be beneficial.
Well, I thank you for coming in, sitting down, talking to us. I thank your husband, off over there in the corner. But it's just great to have people come on and actually share their story to start and inspire. Because everybody told me, in your face gets inspiring. We see so many people, but I was like, yeah, you see them, but we don't really know what they actually went through. Some people went through tough times. Some people are born in it. Some people find it late. So it's always good, to sit down and share your story. Is there any thing you want to leave off with? Any last words?
No, absolutely. Thank you. I thank you for your platform too, because I absolutely love it. I get to kind of see other martial artists and people. And like you said, I like to actually see them and who they are and where they came from, because we all start different. I started before I can remember, but my husband over here, he just started really a few months back in his 30s. And it doesn't matter how old you start or what background you come from, martial arts has a place for you. We're a community. We're all about equality and unity. like I said, we're kind of a team sport, but we're also an individual sport, and there's a place for everyone in martial arts. And I want everybody to remember that no matter how maybe fed up they're feeling with their life or their situation, I hope everybody out there on the mat, you realizes that we're all family together.
So y'all heard her. Make sure y'all go follow her running, kicking, yogi. I said it right, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that kind of describes you like to run, you like to kick, and you do yoga. Like that's it's kind of like a timeline.
Absolutely.
But I appreciate you coming on. Like anytime you need anything, you need help promoting something, just don't feel afraid. If you ever want to come on, we just talk about different martial art topics. I'm welcome, open.
Yeah, absolutely. I love to talk martial arts. So, absolutely.
Appreciate you. Have a nice
Thank
day,
you. I
man.
appreciate you.
Thank you. So that's the end of another installment of Kicktalk. And I like to thank everybody for tuning in. I know it's starting off small now, but eventually I want us to make this bigger, have martial artists actually come on and share their journey and their story on how they got to the status that even if you're like an orange belt, I wouldn't mind sitting down and talk to you about how you liking the training so far and how you're going through it. Have a blessed day.